Hey, what's up everyone? We are back here and we're going to go do a couple more layouts here of Wivarlution. So this is Dracoknite. He's a pretty high level player here at 2,900 trophies. Take a look here. He's utilizing a lot of werewolves, which I've come across a couple bases again that have been using werewolves and ogres, and they are pretty effective if you make a couple slip ups and you don't really handle them with your hero. So having a lot of monsters can be very effective if the offensive player isn't very smart at the dispatching of your monsters. So you need to use a lot of like infantry style troops like archers, arblasters, knights, things like that that are cheap and effective, and they can do a lot of DPS to the monsters because they have tons and tons of life. And you also do want to hit them with the hero, maybe once or twice, just physically. And I'm using ice items on my hero, so it slows down the monster some, and then also potentially tag them with a spell when you cast and you run by them. So that's how you want to dispatch of the monsters, because otherwise they will just eat away your time and take up tons and tons of precious seconds. So utilizing monsters in the waves is a fairly sound strategy, because again, a lot of players are probably still new in the whole fighting against monster phase and aren't that effective at how to counter them. And if you do let the monsters creep past your hero, they can come back to the tent really, really quickly and just devour that tent. All the monsters do AoE effects, and they also attack like AoE style with their swipes and their clubs. So anyway, we'll take a look here at his base. This choke point right here is pretty nice. It has a 2 length parameter right there. He's utilizing this tower, which you definitely want to make sure that you utilize. It's also in a little bit deeper in its base, so it's going to be tougher to kind of maneuver your troops up there and get them to destroy that tower. So to take out that tower, you have to either call pyromancers or cannons and bring them all the way up to the corner and blow that tower up. Cannons will typically on their own try and attack that tower up there, but depending on how strong it is, it can take out like 3 to 4 cannons before the tower goes down, which is a lot of morale points. Good separation on the barricades. You can't double hit any of the barricades. You also have a choke point right here as well, which is going to be another nice utilization of the gargoyles. So gargoyles, they love choke points like this. More choke points, the better for gargoyles. And having towers non-stop around means there's going to be constant pressure, and the hero's not really going to recover unless they run back further, into the road path. So overall, this looks like a really, really great base here. I don't see anything that I would actually change about this base at all. It looks really, really good. Yeah, so in this base, there's nothing necessarily to change. It looks really, really good, and I'd have to actually go in there to see if, where the tower placements are and things like that. But right now, we're just looking at the layouts. So great job, Dracoknite, and, keep that base up. So the next base we're going to look at here is Lord Sharvin. So this is a little bit lower, about in the middle trophy range, 2,043 trophies. So coming right up on about 2,000 trophies. And you see he has a very, very long choke point style base. These were really, really popular 5-6 months ago. And the reason they were popular is because they work pretty well with archers and arblasters. It's a long straightaway, so if you get down here and then you can't actually recover, if you try and recover, these reinforcement troops are going to still be constantly coming up this way. So if you run back to try and get out of the way of the towers and the waves, you're still going to be fighting opponent troops that are coming up this way. And that's why archers, arblasters, and now gargoyles work really well in this style base, because again, there's really nowhere to run and rest. So in order to recover a style and attacking, like to how to attack this style base, is you have to destroy everything over here, destroy like this entire corner, and then once you have this entire corner, then you're going to want to rest and recover over here. And that's the only time that you can actually stop and recover. If you can't really defeat the entire base, you can't really do it in sections. You can't really go and kill these two towers and then come back. It doesn't work out. You can't really come up here and kill up to here and then run back. It just doesn't work out. You don't have enough time. So in order to kill this base, you have to kill all these towers, you know, in one go, and then do the same thing, rush up to the next section. What I would like to see on this base though is a little bit more of these towers over here placed like right around here, and then one on the side over here. So I would take these three towers and then again put one or two right here and then one or two over here, and so that way you make your initial fight a lot stronger. Because if they get over here and they destroy these towers, then the hero can sit back and recover and rest. For a little bit lower trophy base like this, 2000 range, having some paladins is okay. You do want to have probably your first wave be paladins, because you're still going to be fighting against a lot of opponents using like knights, and it's good to have a big bulk of defense, and you don't have enough morale points to really use big bulky monsters. The offensive players don't have a lot of heavy damaging spells either really at this point. They're still probably using Sword Rain and Firestorm at the 2000 trophy range. If you start to notice that players are starting to use Bladestorm and Sonic Blast, you might want to start taking out the Paladins. That's pretty much the sign that you want to get rid of Paladins, is when you start running up against people that are only using like Sonic Blast and Bladestorm on your defenses, because those two spells are really powerful. The Bladestorm is super effective against the Paladins. The Paladins are weak to normal damage, which the Bladestorm does do normal damage, and then the Sonic Blast is just pure raw massive damage, and it obliterates pretty much anything, including Paladins. So other than that right there, that's all I would recommend for this space right here. Again, depending on whether you are getting attacked with a lot of people that have Sonic Blast and Bladestorm, would be whether I'd take out the Paladins and start using more ranged troops, more gargoyles, and then I also probably would put a little bit more pyromancers in here, so you can either see pyromancers or make sure there's at least a couple in there as well.